for me, I knew public speaking was a gift of mine, but that's why it terrified me. For years, I was so scared to even do any kind of public speaking. Like literally, I would hide out. If I knew I was going to have to speak, I would literally go run and hide. It's crazy because now it's like a superpower, right? Now I'm running towards speaking engagements instead of running away. What is going on? Who you know nation? Super excited. We got an event coming up. You know how I like to do, okay? Got a superstar I want to introduce you to. One of these people that are, doing big things. What I call world changers. Okay, I got this guy coming on Monday, okay, to Dallas live. Got a studio audience ready. Okay, we're going to be doing a happy hour afterwards and networking, connecting. I got a superstar I want to introduce you to. So a lot of you know this man right here, Ramsey. I got this package in the mail, right? The gentleman that I'm going to introduce you to, he's on the Ramsey Network. Matter of fact, he often co-hosts with Ramsey, Dave Ramsey, on his show. So I'm super excited. Let me open this up. Okay, here we go. Let's rock, let's roll, let's go. Let's get this thing open. Yes, let's go. Yes, Mr. Ken Coleman right here. Ken Coleman, all right? And this is amazing. Find the work you are wired to do. How many of you would like to find the work that you are wired to do, the work you are meant for, your purpose? How many of you would like that? Okay. If you'd like that, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. Okay. If that's you, if you want to find the work that you are wired, meant to do, you're purpose driven, right? I want to hear from you because this is an event that is a must. Okay. It even has, it's pretty cool. It's got an assessment code included. Let's check this thing out. Let's see what we got going on in here. Okay. All right. Number 1. Oh, by the way, this hasn't even come out yet. Like, I don't think it's even like, I think I'm like one of the first people to get this. Okay. So we got a card in here. Love it. Shout out to Kurt. Okay. Shout out Kurt, you know, organizing all of this. You're his, publicist. Love this. Got a thank you card from Kurt. Appreciate you, Kurt. Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank you. Okay, we appreciate you. Oh, he says thanks for the kindness and the flexibility for Ken. That's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah, so we had a little bit of we had to adjust the time. Let's just put it that way. So Ken is actually in town with Dave Ramsey and the whole Dave Ramsey crew. They're doing a Entre Leadership Summit. Okay, set of entrepreneurship, Entre Leadership Summit here in Dallas, and big event. I mean, we're talking all the biggest names are going to be there, and so that's why Ken is here. And this will be Ken's second appearance on my show. And so they were like, hey, we want to have him come back on the show and talk about his new book, right? And I said, absolutely, yes. And we got through the organization of it all, putting it all together. And we had to adjust sometimes and, flexibility and stuff like that, because, Ken's a busy guy. So anyways, this is pretty cool. We got the a clear guide to meaningful work. Okay, so it comes with a guide in here. It talks about how this is important, right? Love this. And then apparently there's an assessment in here. Let's see. Assessment code included. All right. Let's go over the chapters real quick. Let's go through the chapters of this thing. Find the work you're wired to do. Okay, chapter 1. Chapter 1. Work doesn't have to suck. How about that? No, it doesn't. It does not have to suck. How many of you have worked for a job that sucked? I know I did. Right? How many of you have worked with a job that sucked? I know I did. Okay. Let's go back. I'm not going to say it sucked. Okay. Matter of fact, I worked at Harley Davidson for a few years, and I was early 20s. And I remember there was a lot of pressure. It was very cutthroat. The environment was not professional at all. I remember feeling pushed around. Matter of fact, my first week there, I got in a fight with my trainer, like a fist fight. Okay. Literally. He was always roasting me. Okay. He was roasting me. And then one day he said something, and I don't remember. I had a smart aleck remark back to him. You know what I mean? And he couldn't take it. Okay. And he's like, he was acting tough, right? We're working at Harley Davidson, so you got to be a tough guy, right? So he's like, you want to take this outside? And this is a grown man, okay, in his 40s, and I'm like 20 years old. Like, but I had to stand up, right? I had to stand up at that moment. I remember I'm like, let's go. I wasn't going to get punked out in front of everybody. So I'm like, let's go. So me and him went outside, and we went to some blows, and we both ended up with a black eye. Okay. And the fight ended. We both had black eyes. And I remember the owner came out, and he was this big guy, and he's like, hey, what's going on here? And I thought I was getting fired. Okay. But no, I didn't get fired. And I continued to work at that job for 2 years. Very, very toxic environment. Very, very toxic. But so work doesn't have to suck. Right. And I think that's chapter 1. All right. Wired for Work is chapter 2. Understanding your range of talents. Right. I think that's super important to understand. Hey, what's going on, Gabriel? Good to see you. We're talking about Ken Coleman's new book. I'm going to be interviewing him on the 22nd in Dallas. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I want you to connect with me, because there is this event. It's coming up, right around the corner. It's Monday. And you're going to get to meet Ken in person. And so I'm excited about that. So understanding your range of talents, right? We're all given gifts by God and talents. Some of them are lying dormant within us. Some of them we are not exercising. Some of them we know are there. We know that they're talents, but we're not exercising them. So that muscle doesn't get stronger, right? I'll give you an example. For me, I knew public speaking was a gift of mine, but that's why it terrified me. For years, I was so scared to even do any kind of public speaking, right? Like literally I would hide out. If I knew I was going to have to speak, I would literally go run and hide. And it's crazy because now it's like a superpower, right? Now I'm running towards speaking engagements instead of running away, right? And so that's oftentimes your biggest talents, your biggest gifts are wrapped up in your biggest fears. And why is that? Well, in my opinion, it's the enemy trying to hold you back from who you're called to be, right? Like there's this person, the ultimate version of yourself. And in order to become that person, you've got to bust through a whole bunch of fear to get there. Fear wants to hold you back from all of that, right? So anyway, when I was working at Harley Davidson, I was selling Harleys. I was in sales, okay? And I got in a fight with my trainer. So, all right, so let's go into this. Understanding your range of passions, understanding your range of mission, right? How many of you feel like wrapped up in your work is your mission, your purpose? I didn't really feel that until what I do now, right? When I was working at Harley, there was no purpose in that for me anyways, maybe for someone else. But when I was working at Harley, there was no purpose, right? When I was working at in the automotive industry and I was selling cars. I was extremely gifted at that, extremely talented at that. Matter of fact, I was the top producer year after year after year. However, like purpose, mission, I don't know. I didn't connect that, right? There wasn't something bigger than myself by selling a car, right? And I think about what I get to do now and the people I get to serve. It's amazing. Like, I actually get to help people in a very, very dark time, which is a career transition. When you're in a career transition, come on, it's a dark time. And you need somebody to come in there and shine a little light on it. Okay. And so I love it when I get to reactivate people, people that are kind of feeling broken, feeling hopeless, feeling worthless. And I get to go ignite a fire in them. You know, even if it's just connecting someone to ignite a fire with them like this, like Ken, I promise you, Ken Coleman is going to come and he's going to light everyone up in the audience. Okay. We have a live studio audience and he's going to light you up. He did last time. Last year we did this. He lit everyone up. So even if it's me just connecting people, I love lifting up people that are hurting and going through a hard time. It's just what I get to do, you know. And again, I think that was why my fear was wrapped in it, is because I don't know. Again, growth happens outside of your comfort zone. So the things that you know you need to be doing often scare you, right? You know you need to do it. I remember when I first got into financial services, there was a meeting and they were asking everybody. This was my first year and I was actually struggling really bad and I wasn't doing good. Okay. My business was kind of sinking. All right. And I remember there was a meeting and they had everybody there. They asked them, they said, "Hey, what do you think is holding you back? What's that one thing?" I want you to write it down. What's that one thing that's holding you back from taking your business to the next level? Write it down. And so I remember doing that. I remember writing down and getting a piece of paper and I wrote down public speaking and I circled it. I knew it. I knew it was that thing, right? It was that thing. That was my kryptonite. You understand what I'm saying? But now it's my superpower, right? So that's all I want you guys to know is oftentimes your talents, guys, sometimes they're lying dormant within you and they need to be activated. Or sometimes you need to push through, or sometimes you need to, your real superpower, sometimes you need to go work that muscle. I wasn't working the muscle when I was afraid of it and I used to hide from it. I literally wasn't working the muscle. So it was weak. Right now I'm working the muscle every day. So it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's where I start to build confidence and I can run towards the stage instead of running away. Right. So guys, I just want you to know that, right? So this book right here, Find the Work You Are Wired to Do. Excited about this. Discovering your purpose, where you are right now. So you want to know where you're at right now, so you know where you're going. Okay. 4 areas of work. Okay, that's interesting. I want to learn about that. The 4 areas of work. Results fueled exploration. Interesting. I want to learn more about that. And then in here somewhere is a code assessment. Let me look for it. It's probably in the back. Yep. Let's see. You're about to discover your top talents, passions, and missions so you can start making an impact doing the work you love. You got this. Inside this packet, you'll find your unique access code to take the Get Clear assessment. Oh, okay. Ooh, this is cool. Haven't seen this before. All right. So in this is like a tear out. You know, you ever got those pieces of mail? You know what I'm saying? So I got to tear that out. And inside, when I open it, it's a unique code so I can take the assessment for free. Because normally that assessment, I believe, has an expense to it. So by buying the book, you get the assessment for free, and there's a code in there, but it's cool. It's got a tear out, so each one's unique. That's pretty neat. Haven't seen that before in a book, so I gotta find out where that came from. But guys, I'm excited about this interview. It's gonna be freaking amazing. If you don't know who Ken Coleman is, okay, maybe I should have probably told you a little bit about that. Okay, find the work you are wired to do. Ken Coleman, he is on the Ramsey Network. Okay, so Dave Ramsey has a few different shows. If you look here, he's got the Ramsey Show, which Ken Coleman actually often co-hosts on that show with Dave Ramsey. So he's got the Ramsey Show. He's got the Rachel Cruz Show, Ken Coleman Show, John Delaney Show, right? Smart Money Happy Hour, Real Estate Ramsey Way. Those are all Ramsey shows. But basically 1, 2, 3. He's got a few different shows. Ken Coleman has his own show called The Ken Coleman Show. He is actually America's #1 career coach. So this is the guy. If you're looking to level up, okay, your career, take your career to the next level, find the work you're wired to do, the work you're passionate about, something that just, how many of you, like, you wake up in the morning, or you've ever had this, maybe you don't have this now, but have you ever had it where you wake up in the morning and you dread the work that you do? Ugh. You're just like, I don't want to go to work. Well, this guy's going to help you with that. Been featured all over the place. He's kind of a big deal. So I'm excited about this interview. It's going to be amazing. Guys, if you want to attend this event, okay, there's actually a link. Okay, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's a link, and we can get you a ticket. Okay, we're going to be doing live studio audience. We're going to have a happy hour afterwards. It's going to be an amazing time. So super excited about it. If you want, matter of fact, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, let's get a shout out right now. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, holler at me in the comments, and I'll see if I can hook you up because I got a few spots left. Okay. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about this. My other question for you guys is, what are you doing right now? What are you doing to level up? It's 2024. Got a lot of things going on in this world. But how are you taking care of you? What are you doing for you? Are you going to conferences? Are you studying? How are you leveling up? Right? Because that's another thing. Listen, this world is moving super fast. And I don't know how many of you realize that, but all this technology and everything, it's just going like light year, like light speed. Okay. And you need to be constantly sharpening your tools. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. And I know if I feel it, man, I know a lot of people got to be feeling that. Right? So many tools, so much new stuff coming out. Every time you turn around, there's something new. Right? So my question to you is literally, what are you doing? How are you leveling up? Right? Because you got to keep you got to keep it all tight, because otherwise you're going to get left in the dust. And AI and things like that will take your job. I mean, it just will. Right? I'll give you just some simple examples. So in the podcast realm, okay, podcasting's getting a lot easier, right? Which, let's talk about that. So I had a copywriter who would watch my show and write show notes for me, right? A copywriter. Well, guess what? They got tools now that the episode, you just upload it and boom. One's called Decipher, and literally it transcribes it and then writes articles for it, writes show notes for it, writes copy for social media posts. It pulls out all the quotes. I mean, it does so much with AI. You just put the video in there and it just bloop, creates all this written content for you. I'm like, whoa. And I used to pay her, was about $400 a month to do that for my show, right? That's gone, right? AI, right? What's another one? Video editing is getting a lot easier, right? These tools now, you could put this video into, like Riverside is where I'm recording this right now. And with Riverside, once you're done, you can hit magic clips and it'll make a bunch of TikToks and a bunch of reels, right? A bunch of vertical video under 60 seconds. It'll pull out the highlights and put auto captions on them. Now, it's not going to get too fancy with, B-roll and, music, and it doesn't get too fancy, but it does the hard work, which is pulling out the important moments and puts captions on it automatically. And that's all you really need. I mean, really, that's all you need. All the other stuff is just flash. And sometimes the flash hurts you anyways. People want the raw. So shoot, man, video editing. Let's just say there you go. Right? There's another one AI has taken out. Okay. So again, just in what I'm doing with podcasting, there are so many jobs that are being eliminated really in that space. In the content creation space, it's getting a lot easier, right? And so that makes me think, okay, there was a time, guys, here's the real secret to it. There was a time where to do a podcast or to do a show, you'd either have to be really, really, really good with technology, and you'd have to really understand things, and you'd have to really, really, be tech savvy to do it yourself. If you're going to do it yourself, you'd have to like invest, and it was a lot. Or you would hire a team to help you produce, and then the back end editing and all that kind of stuff. Oh, that was another one, the AI taken out. So I used to have an audio engineer who would clean up the audio. Well, guess what? AI does that automatically now too. You press a button, boop, masters it, right? So where I'm going with this is it's becoming easier and easier and easier, right? With technology. And it's taking out a lot of those jobs. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means the podcast market, right? Where it used to be a lot harder to kind of get in. Now it's easier to get in if you have a Zoom account, or you get an account like Riverside. It's $25 a month, right? If you were to do something like that, literally, now you got a podcast. So what that means for me is, in order to, the market's going to become more saturated. Essentially, we're going to have more content creators. We're going to have more people doing this stuff. And so how do you stand out when there's more and more and more and more and more, right? So technology is even making it for me, when I think about this, like for me to stand out, I've got to do something bigger, better, bolder, and you've got to put on something that's worth watching, right? You can't just do it like everyone else. So that's what I'm saying is, how are you combating this in your industry? Right? Think about whatever industry you're in. I want you to put that in the chat. Put whatever industry you're in right now. Okay. If you're in HR or project management, accounting and finance, whatever it is that you do, put that in the chat. And think about how technology is impacting your industry, and what are you going to do about it? Because it's not going to go away. Matter of fact, we're just at the beginning of this thing. And I feel like it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. So yeah, how are you combating that? Love to know that in the chat. But yeah, super excited about this interview with Ken Coleman, the #1 best-selling author. He's got the Get Clear assessment. Like, this is going to be a big deal. So this is April 22nd, 3 p.m. Central, Dallas, Texas. If you are in the area and you want a ticket to see Ken Coleman live in person, right? Just holler at your boy. I would love to hook you up. I got a few seats left. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hope y'all all have an amazing, blessed day. Have an amazing weekend. Okay. And we will talk at you soon. Let's rock. Let's roll. Let's go. Cash flow. Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.